Premier League, who have charged Manchester City with over 100 breaches of its financial fair play rules.
If they are found guilty of the charges that they will face, that they are facing, Manchester City will face at least relegation.
So what if Manchester City were relegated? Well, Pep Guardiola said that he would sign a new contract at Manchester City in just out of being loyal to the club. So Manchester City charged with 115 charges. According to whatever, some journalists, they're going to get found guilty of every single one. So I thought, why not jump onto FC24 and see what would happen? Well, Pep Guardiola will stay in charge. We'll stay in charge of Manchester City, but there's a few things that are going to happen because of a massive, massive points deduction. Manchester City will be relegated to what I can go to the lowest league of professional football. Of course, in real life, it could be the Vanarama National League. It could be completely to the bottom of all leagues. We're going to go to the lowest league of professional football, lowest league on FC24, which is League 2. League 2. So we're going to promote Leicester to the Premier League, try and do it that way. And as we flick through now through League 2, there we have it. 5-star Manchester City, a League 2 side worth 3.9 billion. Our transfer budget 215 million, but we're down in League 2. Now, being relegated, you can see that there is objectives of what they want us to do here. Being in League 2, a bit different to what we expect, or not like we usually are. So, 10 games with at least 1 goal scored in away matches, replace 3 players from the team. No continental success because we're out of the Champions League. Win the League 2 title, win the Emirates FA Cup, sign at least 3 crucial players and make a profit of 106 million. I mean, win the League 2 title is my aim. I'm not really focused on the Cups competitions at all with Pep Guardiola at this moment in time. We have one thing on our mind, and that is just to get promoted back to the Premier League. That is what we're going to be doing. It's going to be a season, an episode. We're going to see how long it takes Manchester City not only to get back to the top of Premier League football, but also back to the top of their game, as in Champions League winners, Premier League winners, FA Cup winners, so on. So we've done a lot of bringing the players back that are out on loan, returned every single player from loan in the squad because we're not going to be using some of the big players at all. We will not be able to use some of the high-rate players at all. First departure was Taylor Howard-Bellis, 9.3 million. He moved to Philadelphia Union. There's going to be lots of players leaving the club. Jeremy Doku, he leaves the club. He doesn't want to play in League 2. £35 million move to Napoli. Kyle Walker to Barcelona. Good move for him. 21.5 million. He's looked to see out his career. Issa Kabore swaps City for Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia, 6.1 million. Bernardo Silva goes to PSG for 95.3 million. He decides to leave the club. Luca Fletcher to Cannes on a 2-year loan. He's not going to play much football, the youth player. We need good players to get promoted. Dario Sarmiento joins Middlesbrough on a full-time deal at 2.1 million. Spike Brits to Port Vale. He moves there for 12 months. Does the young goalkeeper. Squad depth needed, it says. There's plenty of things we can do in this side. Max Elaine, 12-month loan to Carew Alexandra. Really trying to trim down this squad and let some of the bigger names go. Zach Steffen joins Midtjylland in a £5.6 million deal away from the club. Nathan Ake, he moves to Serie A with Lazio in just under 25 million. Honestly, our budget will be massive. Servette signed Stefan Ortega for 11 million. Mateus Nunes goes to Brighton and Roberto Di Zerbi signed for 28 million. These are all the big moves out. Joao Cancelo, we've always said he's a snake. He continues that. A £63 million move to Liverpool. Emilio Lawrence joins Cambridge United on a 12-month loan till the end of the season. Manu Akanji to Southampton, who are going to get up to the Premier League. 30 million for him. And now we've got a big transfer list. We've got lots of players that we're looking through, lots of players being scouted, lower rated players ready for League 2 action. Kane Taylor joins Peterborough on a 12-month loan till the end of the season. We've got Joel Ndala join Newport County on a 12-month loan till the end of the season as well. Sergio Gomez joins Girona, City's twin side, for a 2-year loan away from the club. Thomas Galvez to Sutton United for a 12-month loan. Wow, how many players have left the club here. Maximo Peron to Olympique Marseille for 4.1 million. He is left on a loss. Yang Huto goes to the MLS, strangely, to LA Galaxy in a £9.7 million deal. Calvin Phillips moves to Galatasaray. He couldn't join West Ham on a permanent deal. £16 million for him. Julian Alvarez decides to go to Saudi for £56 million thereabouts. John Stones to Real Madrid. That's a good move as well. £55 million for John Stones. Still keeps going here. Now, some of the players we couldn't sell on permanent deals, they just wouldn't leave permanently. So Edison joins Chelsea on a 2-year loan. Jack Grealish goes to Arsenal on a 2-year loan. We'll look to sell these permanently in the future. Ruben Diaz joined Real Madrid on a 2-year loan. Lots of moves on loan as well. Haaland joined Atletico Madrid on a 2-year loan. What a sign he is for them. And Rodri joined Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League on a 2-year loan as well. And looking at the side is looking very different. We're lined up in Pep's 3-2-4-1 formation, which is what he used in the treble winning season. So we started with that. But you can see there's lots of improvement to make. At the moment, that is sort of the strongest starting 11, with Carson, a 65 rated goalkeeper in goal, Burns 61, and Bete 62, and Callum Doyle, the captain, 71, the back 3. Rico Lewis 74 rated alongside Tommy Doyle at midfield there. Phil Foden will be staying. He won't be going anywhere. He will be our captain. O'Donnell's got it on the moment, with James McAtee in that midfield. The lap, the striker up top, 69 rated. Got a 66 rated Oscar Bob on the right, and Ben Knight 60 on the left. Luis Fiorini's in there, Nico O'Reilly, Robertson, Tedic, Diaz and Edison are on the bench. Of course, they're leaving on loan, so don't get too confused by that. They are going out on loan away from the club. Wilson Esbrand, 67 rated there, who could actually play out left-hand role where Ben Knight is playing. We're looking to bring people in, and we're looking to improve the squad in quite a few areas. A goalkeeper is pretty high on my list, actually. Defenders, wide players, a striker perhaps as well. CJ Egan Riley, who's one of our former players, is someone I'm looking for, but that unwilling to relocate, that is something that comes up a lot. A lot of players are not willing to relocate. I've added a lot of players to our shortlist. That players are either former Manchester City players that have played for the club before, or players that play for our sister clubs. Simon Graves stands out to me as a good signing, but someone like a New York City sort of player, a Troyes player, a Palmeiro player, a Girona player, or former players anyway, like Claudio Gomez, for example. He seems like a very good idea to bring in holding midfield, actually, and very cheap. We're not looking to spend hundreds of millions in the Championship. It wouldn't be realistic. I'm going to try and keep it as best I can realistic. If this did happen, making signings, bringing players in. So you can see there, Ante Palaversa, another one, a former player, also plays for Troyes. Those are sorts of players, also players that are looking pretty good in the League 2, the League 1, the Championship. Those sorts of options. Adari Mapude, they used to play for our youth team. Again, unwilling to relocate. A lot of players don't seem to want to join Manchester City, which at the moment seems like a bit of an issue, doesn't it? Players not wanting to move to us and play with us in League 2. I suppose, understandably. Samuel Adozie there as well, another one, former player. So, we do want a new goalkeeper. Former Manchester City keeper Daniel Grimshaw currently plays for Blackpool, 25 years of age. He just seems like the right sort of deal to go for. We can't have Scott Carson because he's going to decrease being his age, so we need goalkeepers and we need them fast, and we need players considering how many players have left. So 850,000, driving a hard bargain here with Blackpool. They want 1 million for him, which I think we might end up paying in the end, which is not a lot of money. But Pep Guardiola and Cheeky Begiristain will drive a hard bargain in the end, we just say. Yeah, except 1 million. 1 million really is nothing for a side like Manchester City, despite being relegated. And Daniel Grimshaw will be the first signing of our League 2 action. Playing for Blackpool, but we're saying, listen, Daniel, you can come back, be a big player for Manchester City, especially this season, as the big aim is to get promoted to League 1 from League 2. Then it is further from there, maybe to obviously the Championship. Can we do it back to back to back to back, just promotion every season? That is the aim. We're going to do 6 seasons. 6 seasons if we can win the treble again. So Daniel Grimshaw agrees a deal. New sign at Manchester City. The first one of this new era, the relegation era, as you could call it. Daniel Grimshaw comes to Manchester City, has his reunite with Pep Guardiola, of course, because he knows him well, played in City's youth system, played as a third choice keeper, a fourth choice keeper in Manchester City at times, was involved in training, and he returns to the club wearing the number 1 shirt. Who'd have thought that Daniel Grimshaw would be back? But under these circumstances, we need the signings, and Daniel Grimshaw is the first one of the new Manchester City relegation era, from Blackpool to Manchester City for 1 million. And we don't stop there with signings. I think Claudio Gomez, like we said, just seems like such a good option. He's got a £4.5 million release clause, but he's with one of our sister clubs in Palmeiro, so we think we can get him in a good deal anyway. He's played for Pep Guardiola before, he's played for our youth system. 2.4 million on James McAtee, a player that I think is going to be crucial. Played a lot of football for us, we're not going to get that in the deal. Try again, 2.6 million, just over his value, 2.9. They want around 3, that's agreed for Claudio Gomez. 2.9 million for a Frenchman, once described the next N'Golo Kante, was in Paris Saint-Germain's youth system, joined Manchester City at 17 years of age. Actually made his debut not long after joining in the Community Shield against Arsenal, was it? Or Chelsea, and then for whatever reason, didn't work out in the youth team, ended up playing out on loan, didn't work out on loan for him either. And then he floated around different places, playing City's youth system actually one season as a right back, because City were lacking a right back and they thought, oh, Claudio Gomez can do that job. But he's back at Manchester City, if we can read this deal here, £5,000 per week. Claudio Gomez returns to Manchester City here, arriving at the training ground. And it's, again, another player reunited with Pep Guardiola. Two players that have rejoined the club as former players. Handshake with Pep Guardiola as he returns to the club here, Claudio Gomez. And he could be a real big player for us in that holding midfield role, alongside Rico Lewis, Tommy Doyle as well. I think he will develop well. We'll change the shirt numbers and things as we get through the series and work them out better. But Claudio Gomez to Manchester City, signing number 2 of the relegation series. In he comes, and he comes in for just 2.5 million. And another sign looking to make here is Callum Talbot. We've agreed a deal with him to join the club, actually. He's an Australian, and with playing that back three, I'd like someone on the right-hand side of the back three to be a right-back / centre-back. That's why I was looking at CJ Egan-Riley coming back. But we couldn't get him, so being in League 2, a bit of a lower-rated player in Callum Talbot, who's playing for our sister club, Melbourne City. Again, keeping it realistic until we get towards like the Premier League, when we're pushing for the Champions League and we're saying, listen, we can't bring our players back that we've sold, let's go and sign some big money players. But for now, these are players we're going to be bringing in, and it's Callum Talbot who will be joining the club. Handshake by Talbot with the assistant coach here, or one of the trainers. Pep Guardiola gets to work under Pep Guardiola. I mean, League 2 fans are getting to see Pep Guardiola managing League 2. He's pretty crazy, isn't it? That is pretty crazy. If you were a League 2 fan, you're going to watch Manchester City and Pep Guardiola up against you. A man who's won the Champions League multiple times, the Premier League multiple times, La Liga, I mean, one of the most renowned managers in world football. And he's brought in Callum Talbot from sister club Melbourne City for just 700,000. Now, we are looking to sort of pack out the squad with lots of players leaving on loan. We'd rather bring other teams' loan players in. So, looking at Leeds United's Matteo Joseph on a one-year loan deal here at the club. No option to buy. Just bring him in, loan him in. We'll try and get his wages. They'll want us to pay a lot of his wages here. We are going to be developing their player Matteo Joseph to come in. I think he's got high potential, him, and he can just be one as an extra body in the squad, as we have trimmed the squad, developing our players out on loan and playing. And the same for Tim Oberman, who says he's unwilling to relocate at the time, but on a loan, basic terms wise, I think he will agree to join Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. Who wouldn't want to work under Pep Guardiola? So the Bochum man, 19 years of age, just an extra centre-back as ours go and develop, and we bring someone else's in. And there you see, Matteo Joseph agrees the deal. He joins from Leeds United on a 12-month loan, and he's also joined in the squad by Tim Oberman, who joins from Bochum on a 12-month loan as well. So the squad is looking way better now. You can see there, Diaz, obviously Grealish, these players will be leaving on loan there, ignored them. But you can see the squad's looking a lot better. I've put Esbern on that left wing role, which I think he can develop well there. But the side's looking a lot stronger, isn't it? Of course, we've got an 86 rated captain in Phil Foden, McAtee, Lewis and Doyle. Those four, I'd say, an absolute step above the rest, aren't they? Phil Foden's certainly. And he will captain his boiled club in League 2 and continue to help us and launch us all the way up the table. So, other options as well. I thought, you know what, we need to bring in another centre-back. A player that Pep Guardiola said to the player after he played for him last season, if you were 10 years younger, I'd be signing you. That's Tim Ream, an experienced player. And I thought, bringing in an experienced player despite being 35 years of age seems like a good one. Can you bring him in cheap considering they are 35 years of age? Just one season, 73 rated, exactly embodies what Pep Guardiola wants in a centre-back. A £500,000 deal agreed with Fulham's Marco Silva to bring in Team Ream, who has fallen out of favour at Fulham, hasn't he? Not the first choice there, as he was for such a long time. They want him on a one-year deal, try and get him a 3-year deal, but it looks like it's going to be a 2-year deal for the American. Like I said, Pep Guardiola, big fan of him. Left-footed as well, can sort of complement Callum Doyle in that position. 16,000 per week. It's a lot of money for a League 2 side, but for Manchester City it's not. We've still obviously got all our big budget. We've got still a 50,000 seater stadium that's going to be nearly full. You hope nearly full every week. The fans still coming to every game with cheaper tickets, and the fans still being commercialised. This could be a big journey from rags to riches, from riches to rags, and then back up. City going down with $1 billion in the bank, and we've gone down with $1 billion in the bank, haven't we? And with that $1 billion, we've spent just $500,000 of it on Tim Ream here, former Fulham centre-back, American international player. Good signing, Tim Ream, for $500,000. Welcome to Manchester City as a new centre-back. And Tim Ream in that starting 11 at the heart of the defence there with Doyle and Talbot. That just makes the team look even better now, doesn't it? A lot stronger going into this League 2 season, where the big aim is to get promoted to League 1. That is where we want to be come the end of the season. So transfer deadline day, quiet deadline day for us. All the deals transfer-wise are done. Players in and out, big names gone. And it's time to get into the season as we simulate through to the first half of the season. The first half of the season flies by with lots of results going Manchester City's way. Luis Fiorini was unhappy with game time, so in January he left to Stade Rennais on a 12-month loan. And we stand there after 44 games going into the final game of the season now. 94 points. We can be winners. We are winners already. On 92 points, Bradford City. You can see the development of the side there already. Phil Foden 88 rated. Rico Lewis nearly 80 now. Bob 71. Gomez up to 73. McAtee 74. Just swapping some of the players out, resting them. Going to the final game of the season, which was against Walsall, who did score there in the 72nd minute to make it at 1-1. So we jumped into the game and said, listen, we are going to take this game by the scruff of the neck and we are going to go and try and win this one at the end of the season and get Manchester City that title in winning ways. Here is Liam Delap for Manchester City. Delap, wide to Stefanovic, back to Delap. Lewis, look at the overlap here from Oscar Bob. Bob could go back on the left foot. He sent it across to the far post to James McAtee. Manchester City take the lead. It is City's number 21. Came through the youth system, the Salford Silver, and he's getting first team action under Pep Guardiola now in League 2. He's been loyal, he's stuck around. Bob, the number 7, sets up McAtee at the far post. Manchester City take the lead over Walsall here. Be 3 points in the final game of the season, which will take us to a historic and one we know very well, 100-point season. And Manchester City and Pep Guardiola's side will be promoted to League 1. And round 1 of the road back to glory could be completed here with that one. Full-time whistle goes, Manchester City 2, Walsall 1. You can see what it means to the players. Not only are they being promoted to League 1, and they know there's a big journey on their hands as Manchester City try to make it back into the higher leagues. City have won a title as well, a trophy again under Pep Guardiola. Some of the players staying loyal to Manchester City, the boyhood players like Rico Lewis, James McAtee, Callum Doyle, and of course captain Phil Foden. And that has led Manchester City to a win. An exciting win for City because with that win, we went into the final game of the season. I thought that previous one was the final game of the season. It wasn't. This one was the final game of the season because we'd already won the league there after that one. With one game left, Manchester City knew Aaron Nemane, former Manchester City youth player for Notts County. Nemane switches the play. 30 seconds remain because Manchester City now are going to lift the trophy. Are the referee blow that full-time whistle? He does blow the full-time whistle. City not only have mathematically done it, they've done it with 100 points. A record here for Manchester City, their first ever League 2 win. Pep Guardiola's side are promoted back, of course, as we already knew from the previous game, back to League 1. Or back to, for the first time, to League 1. And they're going on that road back to the Premier League. Pep Guardiola, one of the most successful managers in footballing history, adds another trophy to his cabinet, and this time a trophy that he'd never won before. As the players celebrate here, they know there's some relief on them. There was pressure on them in this season. There'll be pressure on them going to future seasons. They know now they will lift that trophy right there. Manchester City, historically, for the first time, lift the League 2 trophy. Up steps for players there. And who is the captain? We know he's the captain. City's most loyal player. City's best player of all time, maybe now, as he looks to promote City back to the Premier League, get them back to greatness. The EFL trophy, the League 2 trophy in the hands of Phil Foden. Manchester City are League 2 winners, and we are going back, well, we're going up to League 1, and we know this is one step towards going back to the Premier League. Well, title celebrations we've seen there. We had no players in the top goal scoring, actually, even with the lap and so on. So maybe that's something to look at next season in League 1. More of a clinical striker. Assist-wise, we had a bit of a player in there in Phil Foden, but we didn't really perform amazingly numbers-wise in League 2. However, we did win the title with 100 points, 30 games, 30 wins, 10 draws, 6 losses. Really good goal difference. You can see there, the lap with 18 goals, McAtee with 14. They're our top goal scorers. Rico Lewis with 11 assists was our top in assists. So some good performances, some good development in the squad. And there is the title celebrations now. We have done the double because we also won, apparently, the EFL, I don't know, cup, sort of cup as well, FA Cup in a sense, Jonathan Pate Trophy, whatever you want to call it. You can see the size developed really well. Grimshaw 69 rated. We've got a good squad, really good developments in there as well with Fiorini back from his loan. But yeah, I'm happy that side Reams decreased, but everyone else has developed so well. As for the Premier League though, Arsenal win the Premier League without Manchester City there. But look out Arsenal, because this Manchester City side, we're coming back. We're not giving up. And one day, we'll be back in the Premier League and we're winning it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like the video if you haven't already. We'll see you guys next time.